The Freemasons is a secret society that originated a long time ago. However, there is still no historical documentation that is considered the most authentic regarding when and in what context this society was founded. The secret society of Freemasonry has also left its mark in various countries and has influenced records related to historical events. Why is it called Freemasonry? According to the majority opinion of historians, the Freemasonry, or TAMDM, is a brotherhood organization that originated in the Middle Ages. The organization was officially founded in the small town of Warrington, England, in 1646. This society admits members not only from noble families, knowledgeable in the fields of politics, science, and art, but also those with a charitable spirit, pursuing principles and goals for the advancement of society and humanity. The organization operates non-dogmatically, aiming for the perfection of humanity. According to historical records, Freemasonry is not a mystical sect, even though members are initiated into the society according to principles and mysterious rituals. They use elements of science, spirituality, and religion, such as selecting beautiful natural numbers, natural symbols, the mystical elements of religion, along with the solemnity of ancient rituals to communicate with one another, thereby fulfilling their mission to enlighten humanity. In the early days of its establishment, the Freemason Society often participated in charitable activities, promoting brotherhood and respecting moral values, with the desire to share work and contribute benefits to society. Many sources indicate that members of this society are present in many parts of the world, especially in countries with a long history of development and humane qualities. The Freemason Society currently has about 5 million members. The origin of the Freemason Society comes from the term Mason, which means stone worker. Some documents suggest that the Freemason Society was established before Christ, during the period of building King Solomon's temple. The stone workers of that time constructed buildings by carving and assembling heavy stone blocks. The term Freemason is derived from free and mason, meaning free worker or pursuer of freedom. The symbol of the Freemason Society resembles a compass in geometry. The compass, square, and pyramid serve both as tools representing mystical power and as distinctive features of the society. The mathematician Pythagoras, born in 570 BC and died in 495 BC, was a pioneer who laid the foundation for all forms of architecture and mathematics. He is posthumously recognized as one of the founding members of the Freemasonry. Perhaps that is why the organization has special symbols as it does today. Candidates wishing to join the organization, when introduced or initiated, must undergo a rigorous examination process. They need to go through an investigation of their background, education, living environment, and must answer all questions posed smoothly. If they pass the examination and qualify to become members, candidates are required to commit to preserving the fundamental values of the organization and must never disclose the names of other members under any circumstances. The governing body of the organization is called the Grand Lodge. Worldwide, Freemasonry has many lodges, but there is no single governing authority. Sometimes, a lodge may consist of just one person. Although the identities of the members of the Freemasons were kept secret, over time, this gradually became known. It was discovered that many politicians and heads of state were members of the Freemasons. Most notably, several U.S. presidents, including George Washington, Andrew Jackson, and Theodore Roosevelt. Distinguished scientists such as Charles Darwin and Isaac Newton are believed to have been members of the Freemasons. In the fields of literature and art, the society also gathered great figures such as Leonardo da Vinci, the genius composer Mozart, writer Mark Twain, and detective novelist Arthur Conan Doyle. Just by glancing at these names, we can somewhat imagine the power and mysterious allure of a secret society that still exists today. Historical data shows that many presidents who contributed to the founding of the United States were members of the Freemasons, such as George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and Benjamin Franklin. At the time of gaining independence from the British, it took more than 10 years for the United States to decide to choose Washington as the capital. They did not select cities that were the starting points of the American Revolution, such as Boston, Pennsylvania, or New York. The capital, Washington, D.C., today has a geographical location that combines all the elements of feng shui. The task of designing the political center of the capital was entrusted to the French architect Pierre-Charles L'Enfant, who was also a member of the Freemasons. Construction of the capital Washington began in early 1791, and presidents like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, along with architect Pierre-Charles L'Enfant, applied many different architectural and design principles. These principles were both scientific and inherited from the architectural traditions of ancient Egypt, Rome, and Greece. The structures here are meticulously calculated in terms of size and standard symmetrical proportions. At the same time, they incorporate religious elements and harmoniously coordinate the influence of natural elements such as earth, water, wind, and fire. This is to ensure that the American government institution achieves prosperity and sustainability. Not only do the main structures symbolize the government, but even the housing system in the capital, Washington, D.C., is designed based on feng shui elements. At the same time, it reflects the mystical symbols of the Freemasons. Firstly, the design does not place the Capitol and the White House on the same axis. This is to avoid a confrontational stance between the two institutions of Congress and the government. The path from the Capitol to the White House and vice versa must go through at least two routes. Secondly, since the Founding Fathers, including George Washington, were largely Christians, the religious element is clearly reflected in the criteria for operating the government. This is not only evident on the US dollar with the phrase, "In God we trust," but also in the very design of the power center of the United States. If we connect two straight lines, one line from the U.S. Capitol through the Washington Monument to the Lincoln Memorial, and another line from the White House to the Thomas Jefferson Memorial, we will see a gigantic cross located right in the central power area of America. This is not only visible on the map, but also very clear through aerial photographs. Thirdly, the metaphorical image of the owl, a totem of the Freemasons, is prominently displayed in the central power area of the United States. The owl's eyes seem to gaze down over the entire Washington Mall. The entire U.S. Capitol building is also imbued with this meaning. For the Freemasons, the owl symbolizes wisdom and the ability to see through. It can thoroughly understand things that others cannot perceive, no matter how well they are concealed. In Greek mythology, the owl represents the goddess Athena, the deity of learning and wisdom. Meanwhile, on some coins from ancient Rome and Greece, as well as today, the owl symbolizes status, intelligence, and wealth. For the Freemasons, the owl is the leader of the night. It protects the souls and spiritual legacies of the deceased while passing those values on to the next generation. Additionally, the Freemasons particularly believe in the magic of certain natural numbers, especially the number 13 and the number 33, corresponding to the 33 vertebrae of the majority of humans on Earth. These 33 vertebrae are closely linked, helping humans stand upright and look forward. On the other hand, the 33rd degree is the final level in the ranking hierarchy of the Freemasons. The rotunda dome of the U.S. Capitol building is supported by 33 pillars, each exactly 3.3 meters tall. This symbolizes the immortality of the people's power in the U.S. Congress. In addition to the number 33, the number 13 is also frequently used by the Freemasons. While for Christianity and most other cultures, the number 13 is often considered unlucky. For example, this number corresponds to the order of Judas Iscariot, the betrayer of Jesus Christ. A Friday that falls on the 13th is called a Black Day. To this day, many high-rise buildings in both Europe and Asia still skip the 13th floor. However, For members of the Freemasons, the number 13 carries a positive meaning, like the number 33, which symbolizes the vertebrae of the human spine. The number 13 is interpreted in relation to the human body. Specifically, the number 13 symbolizes the total number of joints in the body, allowing humans to move and be flexible. Furthermore, the number 13 is also likened by the Freemasons to a symbol of balance. 12 movements revolve around a core, symbolizing that humans are the center of all movement in the universe. For instance, the 12 apostles gathered around Jesus and the 12 constellations in the solar system are often referred to as symbols of completeness. They believe that the birth of the United States with 13 northern states, the original founding members of the United States of America, is a divine arrangement. On the $1 bill, the most common currency in the United States, symbols and allusions related to the mystical number appear frequently. For example, the image of the unfinished pyramid, the Eye of Providence, along with the number 13 is repeated multiple times. 13 stars on the eagle, 13 layers of the pyramid, 13 horizontal stripes on the shield, 13 branches and 13 olives on the olive branch, 13 arrows bundled in the eagle's talon. Both Latin phrases on the bill, annuit coeptis and e pluribus unum, contain 13 characters. These are just a few examples showing the multifaceted influence of the Freemasons on America. This indicates that, from the very founding of the nation, the American elite not only placed their trust in themselves and a sound political institution, but also believed that if their endeavors aligned with the laws of heaven and earth, America would endure and prosper forever.